Hey, what's up, everybody? BDO44 coming at you with another video. All right, let's get back to basketball. I've been talking about a lot of heavy stuff. You know how I am. So let's recalibrate and focus on what the day is really about. Today, the return of the Los Angeles Lakers is upon us. Ladies and gentlemen, happy Laker Day to you all. I'm super excited. I wish I had my Laker colors on. I just didn't think about it like I should have. But yeah, we're definitely prepared for today's preseason game versus the Sacramento Kings. I'm personally very excited about seeing both of these teams, not just my own, but also Sacramento Kings, because they are my sleeper team of the Western Conference this season. I think they could be this year's Cleveland Cavaliers or something like that, Memphis or whatever, a team that takes a huge jump or a significant jump from where they were. Not necessarily comparing them to those teams, but to themselves and where I think they can go from where they've been. Yeah, they've got some real talent in Sacramento now. Davion Mitchell, I think, could be one of the best on-ball defenders at the guard spot in basketball going forward. And he also has a lot of offensive upside as well, even though his efficiency shooting the ball isn't where you want it to be. It can get there. He has some incredible mechanics and infinite amount of leg strength that he can kind of use to track people and keep himself fresh on both sides of the floor. I think he's going to be extremely dangerous for that team going forward. Keegan Murray is a guy who I think we've already seen in the preseason what type of wing this is, what type of huge bodied forward, stretch forward guy this is. He can get in the passing lanes and create a lot of problems for you in transition, as well as somebody who can stretch the floor with ease. Extremely clutch, very balanced down the stretch of a basketball game. We saw in the preseason where he made a clutch three-point shot in the corner after readjusting with expiring time. It was just a very poised moment where he was able to fend off defense and precisely hit the shot necessary. So that showed me off rip that this is a special basketball player. He ain't just some guy. Keegan Murray is going to be somebody that we're going to have to deal with in the Western Conference for many years. And I looked at Jaden Ivey as someone who I thought was a better prospect slightly just because of the natural athleticism of a Jaden Ivey. But I don't look at Keegan Murray as somebody who was you just got to settle for Keegan Murray as it pertains to Sacramento. No, they should be extremely happy about bringing Keegan Murray to their organization, especially since they had plenty of guards. Now, adding Jaden Ivey to what they had would have just made it so that they have even more guards than what they needed anyway. This gives them a piece that they didn't have, a good opposite piece to what Sabonis is, which is somebody who plays on the inside, and ultimately somebody who's going to attack and be aggressive defensively as well, which is going to accompany what they already have with Davion Mitchell. You look at a guy like Chizi Metu, who's stretching the floor very well from the center position. You look at, obviously, Harrison Barnes, who's in his prime and now has more help with Keegan Murray playing his position so that he can stay fresher. And having them on the floor at the same time is going to be extremely deadly. I love that tandem. Talk about De'Aaron Fox. You want to see him step forward and continue to take on a star level role, as you know he's capable of doing. I want to see him get back to defense as well, because that's what he was able to shine and do before being drafted against Lonzo Ball. That's where he made his name, is locking Lonzo down. And so that's what I want to see. I think the Sacramento Kings could be a playoff team this year, and if not that, damn close. And it's probably best they do make the playoffs, because the last thing the league wants them to have is another lottery pick. So, yeah, the Sacramento Kings are for real again. Just like they were for real when they got Chris Webber and got Jason Williams and got Stojakovic. Yeah, we're entering another Sacramento era where they're going to have to be taken very, very seriously. So just letting everybody know, I'm excited about seeing them. And, of course, us, the LA Lakers. Of course, it's about us. And, we're a team that's not done. Unlike the Sacramento Kings, we really don't have all our pieces in place. We don't know what we want to be necessarily. We have to funnel around and figure out who we want to start and things like that, trade players. We already know the whole thing, but there's a lot of new faces, and I think we're going to see a lot of things that will help define what it is we should expect going forward tonight. We know for a fact there's going to be a couple players who don't play tonight. Lonnie Walker is going to be missing from this one with a rolled ankle. Dennis Schroeder is also going to be out. He's working overseas on his body by himself with his trainers and his people. I don't think there's anything in the way of him coming over. He's just still working his off season plan. So it's carrying into now, and I'm gonna tell you guys the way I was just kind of reacting to it when I was listening to people talk about it today. Dennis Schroeder, um, he's on a mission of his own. You understand what I'm saying? His purpose right now is to try to get himself to a situation where he can, get a multi-year deal. So whatever he's doing, is he a part of our team? Of course, he's going to be a Laker, but he's on his own mission, and it's sort of like Malik Monk last year. You know what I mean? We got to look at it that way. Sort of like Lonnie Walker, guys who are on a one-year deal. We don't really know if we're going to re-sign them or not, but they're going to prove themselves. So with Dennis Schroeder having so many different guards to try to compete with, I hope he knows what he's doing in not being with the team to start training camp and the preseason. And I know I watched his IG. I know he's working. I could see that he's putting in the effort. He looks like he's in tip-top shape. Obviously, he's been playing ball with FIBA. We know we're bringing in a guy who should be ready to go right now. And I really don't know why he's not with the team other than to say that he's working. Maybe there is something in the way of that. Maybe there's something I don't know about. But what I'm telling you is I think it would benefit him greatly to get on a flight and join the team as soon as humanly possible. Because at the end of the day, as Space has said with Laker Nation, you're going to need to know terminology. You're going to need to know different things that ultimately put you in a position to kind of fit with the unit. And if you don't have those things, if you're not in practice, if you're not on the floor with us, it can definitely put you in a position to be behind the 8 ball. And we don't have a lack for guards. We don't need him to be out there. Essentially what I'm saying to you. It could be a rotation that he's not a part of, and we'll still have a full rotation of guards. So it's on him. Being that he's on his own mission to get his money, he needs to make sure that he's a part of this team and try to find a way to fit in seamlessly. And him being absent, I don't think helps that. So I'm just looking at him saying, brother, that's not. If you can help this, get here. Get here and get here fast. I wouldn't if he can get on a flight to be here tonight, I would be here. Put it like that. I would get here now. Because you don't want to get off to a bad start when you have the circumstances that he has in front of him, especially when you have the history that we have with you. We already know who you are, so it's like let's get off to a good start. So that's my thinking with Dennis Schroeder. I think he's a piece that can help us. I hear the concerns about him. He doesn't make passes. I was listening to someone speak about his interior passing, how difficult it was. I think it was Elder who was saying that on Ticket TV's channel. He's talking about a man doesn't make interior passes very well or something like that. But my thing is, we're not going to be relying upon Dennis Schroeder's piece the same way that we were in 2020. It's not going to be the same dynamic because we do have different pieces. It is a different situation where we have guards in place that do different things than what we had at the time that he was here. So we're not going to be looking for him to set us up. In my opinion, we're probably going to be playing him more like a two-guard situations where maybe Austin Reeves or LeBron James will be on the floor to try to make some of those things happen as opposed to making it so that he has to be the facilitator on the floor because it just isn't as necessary anymore. You can have Scottie Pippen on the floor in situations like that and let him run the offense. We have more playmakers now than we had when Dennis was on the team. So his role ain't the same. Still a point guard, but different responsibilities. And to be honest with you, that was the problem with him in his tenure. His responsibilities changed. We talked about that when he went down with COVID. He came back and his role had changed, and so he didn't thrive in the second role like he did in the first role that he was initially given. And I think that's what ultimately went wrong with him. So it is about role with him, and I think keeping it simple is the way to go. Just like I said, if we were to acquire Kyrie, same way I want to play it with Dennis Schroeder. We're only asking him to do what he is comfortable doing, which is attacking and scoring and looking for his own shot. All that other stuff about him creating for others and making interior passes and stuff like that, you don't put him in those sequences. Simple and plain. And the Darvin Ham will put him in sequences that cater to his strengths. And I think a lot of it has to do with Frank Vogel and his style of coaching maybe not doing that. So, and the roster not allowing for it. So, it is what it is, man. I think with Darvin Ham being the coach of the team, you got to understand that pieces are going to be used differently, and we're going to run an entirely different offense. So, we'll get a taste of what that looks like tonight. I don't expect them to run it perfectly. I expect a lot of turnovers, stuff like that, because they're going to be trying to run plays. So you know how that goes in the preseason. Nobody knows these plays. Trying to run them, it's going to be ugly. I expect that. Yeah, Troy Brown, I don't know that I mentioned this already. He is also going to miss tonight's game. And the thing about Troy Brown, we have to view him properly because he's only 23 years old. So when I look at some of the young players on the team and I'm comparing the young guys, oh, this guy's young, this guy's young, this guy's young. A lot of times when I look at Troy Brown, I don't realize he's younger than some of those players. So he's just yet another young wing that we have to develop. And I am absolutely clueless as to what his strengths and weaknesses are at this point. I just am going to learn, just like with Lonnie Walker. Hopefully Lonnie and him can get back out there soon. So, yeah, that's what kind of sucks about tonight. Those are two pieces I really don't know nothing about and still won't know anything about them after watching the team tonight. So that's going to suck. But I expect to see some of the other guys, man. Cole Swider, he's going to be shooting. You definitely expect to see him get a lot of minutes in the preseason. One thing to note about the preseason, you're going to see guys get heavy minutes in one game, and then you'll probably see some of those same guys not play at all from next game to the next as they carry over. That's just how the preseason goes. So expect it. You know, it's going to be like, why didn't this guy play? Well, don't worry about it because he's going to get all the minutes in the next game. That's just how that works. So, yeah, we will get certain looks and stuff like that. And I think that, you know, I don't expect to be a barn burner tonight. I don't expect it to be, you know, super high powered or nothing like that. These two teams got to learn themselves. The Sacramento teams also have a new coach with Mike Brown in place, new pieces and stuff like that. So I don't know who's going to be playing for Sac tonight. I didn't look at their injury report, by the way. Not sure. But, yeah, you know, it is what it is. We are very happy that the Lakers are back. The NBA basketball is underway. Young players on both sides. You know, Austin Reeves, you can get a chance to get a look at him tonight. Patrick Beverley is going to be out there. Anthony Davis is probable with back tightness. Start the season. Back tightness. Probable, which is a good thing. He's going to be playing. We think it's good. A very good chance that he'll be just fine. But the problem is you don't want to see his name on that injury report for any game that he played. You just don't want to see it, you know. But I get it. You know, it's run of the mill, normal to consider players who are coming off of injury probable to start the season. That's like protocol. I don't think I've seen a player who's coming off an off-season injury with a fully healthy status to start the season. That's just not how that ever works. So this is run of the mill, and the fact that it says probable means that this is literally nothing. However, what I do say to lower back tightness is just what I think about is elbows in someone's back, right? I think about the type of pushing that takes place when you play the center position. And I'm just thinking about the fact that I'm very happy that we have bigs this season who are making it so that he doesn't necessarily have to take as much of that punishment as he's mostly responsible for in any other season. Thomas Bryant, Jones, Huff, they're all going to help so very much with assuring that he has the rest to sit when he has lower back tightness, to assure that those elbows don't come up against him as much as they have been in the past, so that maybe we can have less frequency and frequent back soreness and things like this going forward. At the end of the day, it's frustrating because you say he hasn't played any games. Why do we have these issues? But the reality is because he's been in the NBA for 10 years with elbows up against his back. Do you understand what I'm saying? And that just sometimes you're going to have lasting problems because of that. 82 times, 7-footers for 48 minutes a night plus, elbows up against you, pushing up against you. It's just going to have lasting effects on your muscles and everything. So that's what it's about, keeping him healthy, keeping him fresh, and being patient with him. Understanding that he hasn't always been fighting back from injury. He's always had something that he's trying to heal from. And a lot of the time he probably didn't get a chance to fully heal with a lot of those things. And that goes for him and just about every other athlete that plays professional sports. So yeah, I'm not gonna overreact to it. It doesn't look good, but he'll be there tonight, and hopefully we don't have any setbacks of any kind. And that's what's most important. How does he look out there? You know, is he gonna be faster? Which is what I'm looking for. Is the speed. is what I'm looking for. Because at the end of the day, that was my biggest issue with him. Shooting numbers that come and go. And the fact that he had the finger issue helped me understand why the shooting was so poor. He's naturally gifted at scoring the ball. I've watched him do it for 9 years. So, I've seen him hit 3-point shots falling down on the ground at the buzzer. Like I've seen him hit threes and seen him hitting jumpers and all kinds of stuff so very purely with such fantastic mechanics that I knew something had to have been specifically wrong to why he was shooting in the teens from the perimeter and from within the perimeter. I just felt like that, to me, had a specific explanation, and now that we have it, I'm not worried about it. It's not like he's somebody who doesn't naturally shoot very well. He can shoot, and he's been able to shoot his whole career. So I don't think his shooting numbers stay bad. In fact, I think they're going to increase a lot this season. So, but it is a lot has to do with speed. A lot has to do with how we line him up, and he does have to play the 4 position better than he's played in the past. A lot has been said about his numbers as a 5, and we're a much better team with him as a 5. But that's skewed by the fact that we are lacking in size and rebounding. So even though he plays better at the 5, as a team, we rebound less. So these are the type of things that he just needs a big on the floor, as we've said, to help supplement some of the issues that he has being physical. And because of it, he's going to have to shoot better and just overall play the 4 better. You have to be more efficient as a 4 because we need that from UAD. So that's something that I wanted to say. That, yeah, play the 4 better, especially given the fact that he's going to have to be going up against the Keegan Murrays and the Jabari Smiths and all these new guys that are coming in who have the length to keep up with him, who are just as tall as him and who shoot the ball. So he's going to have to keep up with them guys, Some of those guys are as long as him. So it's like, this is what we're talking about in regards to unicorns not necessarily being unicorns as they used to be when the new saturation of these type of players start to come more frequent in the league. It's like, all right, now you got to keep up with your conditioning and everything because now you got fresh bodies that look like you and move like you. So, yeah, it ain't enough to just be you. You got to be a fresh version of you. So that's what Anthony Davis is going to have to give us, man. You got to get fresh, stretch well, do all the stuff necessary, keep your diet on point, and let those injuries heal properly. Beyond anything and everything else, don't cap about the injuries no more. Don't say there's nothing wrong when there is, because that ultimately goes against the entire team, not just yourself. Because once you go down, everything else falls apart, and that's of course goes for Bron as well. So yeah, man, that's where we're at. I don't expect our bigs to get too many. Not our bigs, but the big guys, the stars, to get too many minutes tonight. And we'll see them for probably like a quarter and a half, and then they'll probably sit, and it'll be basically Cole Swider and Jay Huff show, I'd imagine. But I do want to see just a little synergy with the main guys a little bit. AD and Bron just get a couple lobs up or something like that, and then sit down. That's it. Patrick Beverly, same thing. Just run around a little bit. That's it. I don't really want to see the older guys. I don't have to play that much. Let the young guys, let the Pippins and the Christies and those guys get more minutes tonight. I think that's the way to go. So, yeah. Happy Laker Day. That's what I got, man. I really don't think there's much else to share. I don't expect any trades to be made right away. Nothing like that. We're going to be holding on to Westbrook and those 2 picks until we see something that opens up for us. And, we should expect that. There will be changes on this roster, so don't be married to anybody on it, because I don't think anybody outside of LeBron James is safe, to be completely honest with you. I really don't. And so that's just my own personal opinion. But, yeah, this team is going to go through some changes this season. So that's what I got to say, man. My name is BDF44. I thank you all for watching.